Wake up, Big Sonic. Damn it, Small Sonic, what is it now? Big Sonic, if I do something wrong, am I supposed to receive some type of punishment, Big Sonic? Well, indeed, that is correct, Small Sonic. I guess so. If you break the law, or if you go far beyond the boundaries of someone, or if you break the rules, or if you cross the line, you most definitely require some sort of punishment. Big Sonic, but if I do something very, very bad, how long does the punishment have to be for? Well, Small Sonic, I guess it depends on the type of punishment, the crime that you did. I think that the crime, I think you at least need like a year in isolation. If I kill someone, what should the punishment be? Well, that is a very serious crime, Small Sonic. If you kill someone, I think that you should probably... This is going to be a very spicy, controversial video, really, but it's something that I have to make. The topic of the video is going to be about ethical problems with Islam. What are like the ethical issues that are found within Islam, within the Islamic religion, within Islamic theology, etc. The topic of this video is going to be about ethical problems with Islam. And now this is going to be so interesting because I know a lot of like certainly I know there's like quite a lot of people that are very intimately tied to Islam, the religion. It is like a very intimate thing as well, like this like personal like faith. Islam, being a Muslim, that's like very intimate to your like character and your identity, and that's why a lot of young Muslims now, a lot of people that claim to be Muslims or people that study Islam and they feel attached to Islam, that's why it's very difficult for them to kind of see past like this type of bias that they might have towards the religion. Because if you're like young, you're like very young, whatever you want to call it, you're young and you get raised in a certain way with a certain religion, and you that tends to form a part of your identity, you know what I mean? And as you get older, you carry that religion with you into adulthood. It becomes like a permanent part of your identity. And basically, that's why it's like very difficult. Like if you're raised in your youth as a Muslim person, probably as you get older, you're going to carry that with you into your adulthood, and it's going to form a part of your identity. And that's why it's these sorts of videos, like ethical problems with Islam. If someone starts to critique Islam, a lot of people can get very, very emotional about this. They don't really want to be too open-minded because it is like, the reason why is because it starts to form a part of your identity, especially if you're raised as when you were younger, if you're raised as a Muslim person, it forms a part of your identity. It's like, and so you think and you feel that if someone insults Islam or the Prophet Muhammad, it's almost like they're insulting you, because the religion, it becomes a part of your identity when you're younger. But really, guys, damn, where was I? If you kill someone, Small Sonic, you probably should definitely be punished in a very major way, perhaps lifetime in prison. What if I just kill hundreds of people? I keep killing people. Why should the punishment be, Big Sonic? Well, Small Sonic, in that case, if you're like that much of a threat to society, you should be completely removed and put into solitary confinement. But Big Sonic, what about if I break out and keep killing people? Well, Small Sonic, that is very psychopathic indeed. In that case, I would assume that the punishment should be death. You probably shouldn't be allowed to live anymore if you're just going to be such a danger to everyone else around you. Is that justified, Big Sonic? Am I supposed to not? Is someone else allowed to take my life if I break all these laws and hurt other people? I think so, but there's no clear explanations or rules for this. You can't look in the sky and find your answer. Really, whoever you are that's watching this video, I do encourage you to kind of like separate yourself away from like the indoctrination that you had when you were little, and certainly throughout this video, be a little bit more open-minded. But I'm just going to get right into this right now. You know, straight off the bat, ethical problems with Islam. Straight right off the bat, I wanted to like really now talk about eternal damnation. That is probably the biggest ethical concern that I have with Islam, which would be eternal damnation. I don't think that's eternal damnation that can be justified in any sort of like scenario, any type of like circumstance.
Allah has cursed the unbelievers and has prepared for them a blazing fire wherein they will abide forever. Never will Allah forgive them, nor will He guide them to a path except the path of hell, wherein they will remain forever. Whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger, then indeed for him is the fire of hell. they will reside therein forever. They will never be taken out of it, nor can they make amends. Every time their skins are roasted through, we will replace them with new skins. It will not be allowed to subside for them. They will be in utter despair. They will cry, "O Malik, ask your Lord to kill us." He will say, "Nay, you will remain." Never will they get out of it. They will not be allowed to die, nor will its torments be lightened for them.
Any type of like, even if like someone was like super evil and cruel like Hitler or like Stalin or whoever you have in mind, if someone was like super duper evil, if they were like so sinister, like let's just say they were serial killers and rapists and whatever, fair enough, they did some bad things during their very small time here on earth, then they die, and then they get tortured for all eternity. And that is like the Islamic view here, and it is also a part of Christianity, isn't it? Eternal damnation. I'm not sure about Judaism, not sure about the other religions. Let's just focus on Islam, and maybe I might get into Christianity as well, because eternal damnation, it kind of is also a part of Christian theology. So this is also like a big fat ethical concern with Christianity as well. But still, ethical problems with Islam, eternal damnation is probably one of the most like despicable things regarding like Islamic theology. Eternal damnation, really, that if so during your small amount of time here on earth, you do something wrong, and then, all right, fair enough, and then you die, and then you get burned alive for eternity. In the Quran, there's like vivid like descriptions of like, oh, the disbelievers, they're gonna have their skins burned off, and then new skins growing back, and it's just like an endless cycle of their skin being burned off and coming back. Big Sonic, if I do something bad and wrong, so basically I should deserve punishment? Well, of course, Small Sonic. Of course you deserve to be punished if you break the law, if you do something that's against your society or etc. Big Sonic, but how severe should the punishment be? Well, Small Sonic, the severity of the punishment depends on the intensity of your crime. If you did something that hurt a lot of people, you should probably be put away in solitary confinement. And if you continually hurt people, even after going to jail, you should probably be killed, I think so, especially if you become a serial killer. Big Sonic, if I kill multiple people, would that mean that I deserve to be in jail and probably potentially killed as well? Well, I think so. If you're going to harm the society, you should probably be removed or maybe, yeah, killed and hung, which was very common a couple of hundred centuries ago. Back and growing back and burned off and growing back and blah 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 blah. Really, is that very fair? Is that fair? Eternal damnation. During your small amount of time here on earth, you do something bad, okay, then you die, then you get tortured for all eternity. That is so, and a lot of you would say, well, what, well, they have to be punished. I know, yeah, but do they have to be punished for all eternity? Really, that's so stupid. There's so many other ways to like solve like let's just say someone's like super duper evil. All right, they die, they stop existing, for then done. Or they get reincarnated, they come back on Earth in a different way, in a different form, and they just keep evil people just reincarnate, and maybe perhaps this time they might be good. Eternal damnation, eternal torture, that is so ridiculous. That's so nonsensical. And it isn't just, some people say, well, Hitler, if some evil person does something very, very bad, they have to be punished. Alright, but you know, in Islam, it's not about like Hitler or killing people or doing something that's like morally outrageous in terms of like our modern society, in terms of like the 21st century moral understandings that we all have now. What does evil mean in terms of like abusing someone's rights and their personal being? No, in Islam, if you don't, you can get, you get hellfire if you don't believe in Allah or if you don't accept Islam at all. Like if you're a kafir, which means disbeliever, you're probably going to get tortured forever in hellfire for eternity. And that is like I think that is like a mainstream view of Islam, that kafir disbelievers get eternally tortured. So it's not even about pedophiles or rapists or serial killers. If you literally just don't believe in Allah, you get eternal damnation. And that is so, to me, that is like a little bit nonsensical. But this is so like important to understand how like insanely cruel this is. Big Sonic! But what if I do a very small crime? Like I steal a piece of chocolate from a shop? What should the punishment be? Well, that is a very small type of crime. The punishment should be you just give money, you pay some type of fee to the shop, and you're banned from entering that shop. That should be the punishment. That doesn't sound so bad, Big Sonic. Well, Small Sonic, because the type of crime that you did in that scenario is not very severe, is it? Big Sonic, what if I kill somebody? What should the punishment be? I think solitary confinement, or you should probably be killed yourself. An eye for an eye, life for life. If you kill someone, you should probably be killed yourself. Big Sonic, what if I break the speeding limit? Then I think that you shouldn't be allowed to drive. You should have your driver's license revoked, and you should be banned from driving. Well, that does sound very, very reasonable. It's like eternal damnation, eternal torture. Let's just say that you had like a family member, you knew someone in your family and they were evil, they like killed people, they're like serial killers, rapists, drug dealers, whatever. And you could decide their afterlife. You get to choose what happens to them after they die. I think a lot of us, eternal torture, really, is that something that a lot of us would agree on? Someone does something very bad, after they die, they just get tortured for all eternity, really? Most people are like, they don't really think too deeply about this, but think about this, how insanely cruel that is, like eternal torture and damnation. How can you possibly justify that? And it is like it's like a fundamental part of Islamic theology. And that's like one ethical issue and concern that I have with Islam. There's also the other side of this as well. The other ethical concern is that, you know, in Islam you have a concept called Sunnah, which is basically the Prophet Muhammad. He is like the picturesque role model that we all should like try and follow and emulate, because he is like God's chosen messenger, and everything, all of his actions are things that we need to like copy ourselves. His actions are like glorious, and we all have to like emulate them. If you believe in Islam and Allah, you have to follow Muhammad and copy everything he did during his lifetime, and that is called the Sunnah. The issue with like this is that if you look at the Hadith literature, Muhammad, there's like, some people will be like very contentious, but I do think there's like a lot of like agreement between the Islamic scholars, certainly Yazir Qadi, Shabir Ali, that Muhammad actually had intercourse and engaged to like Aisha when she was during her like very like during the time when she was like very young and immature and premature, actually, not immature, even immature, but premature actually. So what
arises that what is her age? When was she born? And the fact of the matter is that this is one of those things I will have to give an entire maybe half lecture or full lecture about, even though I don't want to, but just to talk about methodology and to explain the science of looking at the past, the science of looking at these narrations and trying to sift through. In a nutshell, the age of Aisha has become a very, very controversial issue in our times only. It has never been an issue of controversy for the entire Islamic history. And the age of Aisha was a given. It was something that was understood to be very young. Why? Because there is an authentic hadith in Bukhari and Muslim in her own voice. She narrates that I was 6 years old when the nikah took place with the Prophet ﷺ, and I was 9 years old when the nikah was consummated. And every bit of information that we know fits into this narrative. So why deny it? Is that clear? Everything that we know, including what I just said, I was born and my parents were already Muslim, etc., etc. Everything we know fits into this narrative. So why should there be a controversy?
What's the issue here? Some people say, well, it's just because Muhammad, he was born a couple of centuries ago, it's just a part of his like society. But okay, fair enough. But in Islam, you have the concept called the Sunnah. So whatever Muhammad, all of his, like, if Muhammad did something, you have to like do it as well, and it's probably good. And it's a blessing to copy Muhammad's actions. So if Muhammad engaged with Aisha when she was younger, in her younger years, if she was very premature, young girl, if Muhammad banged her up during that time of her young life, and Muhammad married a young girl, then that is like Sunnah, and so in regarding Islamic theology, that is like halal, and Sunnah that should be something that we all strive towards. And there is a lot of like debate regarding like Muhammad, like if he actually did engage with Aisha during the time when she was like very young, or during some other time of her life. It is a dubious. I don't want to waste too much time on it, but you know, Sunnah, Muhammad did so many like ludicrous things. If you read through the hadiths very carefully. Big Sonic, so basically what you're saying is the punishment of the crime has to match the intensity of the crime. So if I steal a little piece of candy from a shop, basically I should be banned from entering that shop and I shouldn't be allowed to, and I pay a fee. If I kill someone, I should be killed myself or put into solitary confinement for lifetime. That makes sense, Big Sonic. Indeed it does, Small Sonic. The punishment of the crime should match the intensity of the crime. If you do something very severe and bad and something that hurts a lot of people, you should be probably hurt yourself or put away in solitary confinement, or maybe even killed if you cause so much harm to society. Big Sonic, what about infinite punishment? What about that? Well, small Sonic, that is quite ludicrous. Infinite punishment, I don't think that will be justified in any scenario. What if I killed a billion people? Would that mean that I have to be in jail forever? I don't think so. Certainly you'd come across like verses talking about how Muhammad, because Muhammad, quick little fact for you, Muhammad's life is not actually even found in the Quran. It's not, if you read the Quran, you're not going to hear anything about the Prophet Muhammad. You're going to hear like a retelling of the Old Testament prophets like Moses and etc. and stuff like that. It's like that's something that was quite surprising to me when I was reading the book Quran. That you're not going to hear Muhammad there. You're not going to find Muhammad in there. You're going to find the biblical prophets. That's it. If you want to know about Muhammad, you have to read the hadiths, which is in Islamic theology. There's like two pieces of literature that you have to study: the Quran, and then there's like a separate body of literature called the hadiths, and that is like the prophetic, like the people that were around Muhammad. They kind of recorded bits of information about his life and they kind of passed it down, and that is the hadiths. It's kind of like the Gospels a little bit, but you know, in the hadiths, Muhammad did so many insane, despicable things. So, and if he's like the best of mankind, and he married a young girl, there's like a lot of references to the fact that he might have even owned slaves and traded slaves, and he was engaging in war and killing people and committing tribal genocide. If he did all these things in the Quran as well, I mean, not in the Quran, this is like explicitly found in like the hadith literature. If it's like very explicit in the hadiths that he did these things, then it's sunnah, and then you're supposed to do it as well, because Muhammad's like the best of mankind. So he's someone that you need to like follow his footsteps if you want to achieve proper salvation and righteousness. But certainly, other than that, I think that's really the biggest ethical problem with Islam that I have is like eternal damnation. But really, guys, hopefully you can think about this. Big Sonic, what if I kills a billion people? What about infinite punishment? What if I do something so bad that there's no way that I would have to be punished forever for all of my existence? That is quite extreme, Small Sonic. I don't think that's even theoretically possible. Surely infinite punishment, that is like little impossible. Surely you would only be living for a certain amount of time. I think infinite punishment, I don't think there's anything that even if you kill a billion people, if you destroy the universe or something, even with that being the case, infinite punishment is just so cruel and sadistic. I don't think any type of legal practitioner would even like kind of recommend that at all in any type of legal court case. Are you sure about that, Big Sonic? Well, yes, I am. Infinite punishment, I don't think that would be warranted ever. I think you'd either have to be completely like killed or put in solitary confinement, or I don't know, but infinite punishment, that is insane.